Excuse me? Who the hell are you? I'm your clone. I thought I'd fill in for you. Nope, I don't think so. And besides, you're not wearing the proper attire. It's this shirt for this review. So you need to raise on up out of here. Oh, I just figured, what did I say? But, damn clones don't never know how to mind their own freaking business. What is up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to my review of Mickey 17. You know what? It's funny. Ever since this movie was announced, I always think of that song, Hey Mickey, from the 80s. I forget the artist's name. My father would definitely be able to tell you who that was, but I always think of that song every time I hear this movie's title because of Mickey. Actually, I think they played it on the trailer, or one of the trailers, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, it's just a little weird side note I decided I wanted to throw out there. This was something that I was going to see earlier. I'd already purchased my ticket online for it for the Thursday premiere. But then I got sick and I had to end up canceling it. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that happened. Not the sick part. That always sucks. But I'm glad I was able to cancel my ticket then, because now I ordered it a second time. I was able to get it for free because of my membership of my beloved Cinemark. I get 1 or 2 tickets for free every month. So it just ended up like that this time. So I was able to save myself $10. Yay me! This was something that I wasn't quite sure of. I wasn't quite sure if I was even going to give this a try or even a chance or a glimmer. But I figured, why the hell not? So essentially what you have here is this guy Mickey, who volunteers for this experiment, which was formed by this failed yet corrupt politician, in which Mickey becomes a patsy for cloning on an alien planet. In a way, I'm kind of glad that the trailers pushed me to go see this. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure about this. There was some moments to be had. Again, I'm glad that the trailers pushed me into going to see this, because beforehand, I just wasn't quite sure about this. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to even give this a chance. But was this something I loved? Did this surprise me on a whole nother level? Or was this just another failed experiment? Started off the positives for Mickey 17. I did enjoy the story. I thought it was pretty interesting, where you followed this guy who signs up to be an expendable, to where he is killed off time and time again, but is resurrected, is regenerated in clone form, which is why the film is called Mickey 17, because it's the 17th version of Mickey. To where you find out that something happens, you see this in the trailer, so I'm not ruining anything, but you find out that something happens and he doesn't end up dying, and he runs into the next clone by accident without him even knowing. And then that's when shit hits the fan, because the premise of this movie is you can't have any more but one clone. Otherwise, it's bad for business. So again, that's where shit hits the fan, and that's where the film really starts off. There's a little bit more to the story, which is a little bit of a downside for me, which I'll get into here in a little bit. But I thought it was an interesting concept. Robert Pattinson was pretty good as the main character, Mickey. He's an actor I've come to respect, especially after the Batman. He's an actor that I don't really see that much. Yeah, I've seen the Twilight films, but they don't exist to me. Not anymore. And let's face it, the Twilight days are far behind us, so he's cool. But I thought he did well here, especially later on when the one Mickey, the 17th, runs into the 18th version of him, the douchey character side of himself. I thought he played that off pretty well. It's kind of a relief seeing him play a part like that. It just really shows off his talent, and it shows off his mark as an actor. And I thought he did a really good job at that. Mark Ruffalo, who plays the main antagonist of this, really stood out. It's the one thing, especially in terms of comedic tone, that stood out the most to me. He came off as like one of those Saturday morning cartoon villains. Very lively, very animated. Some might find that annoying, but to me, I thought it worked the best. I thought it worked for the type of character he was bringing. I found it to be enjoyable. It's a little cliche, but again, it worked for him. It worked for the type of character he was bringing to us. He was quite a character, and he's the one reason, he's the one aspect of this film that got a few chuckles out of me because of his whole personality and his whole cartoonish stand. I enjoyed the fact that this film's backdrop took place on an alien planet. It was not on Earth, that's for sure. This complete white, snowy, desolate planet with these caterpillar looking like alien type creatures, which they called the creepers, which I thought that was pretty clever. It wasn't the entire focus of the film. It was mostly character driven, which that's okay. But I did like the backdrop, and I thought it gave the film an interesting take. Especially the fact that this film's premise, and it also had a really good reason why it was taking place on an alien planet and not on Earth. But I really did like the way that the aliens looked. It was unique. Again, they kind of looked like caterpillars in a way, but I thought they were pretty intimidating, and I thought they looked pretty cool. It was just something different. It was different from Men in Black or Mars Attacks or Independence Day or Alien. I really did enjoy that. Now, as expected, I knew I would have some issues with this film. This is something that I always hope to avoid while watching movies, but it's also a concept. Unfortunately, talking about movies, I don't consider myself a professional critic, but for someone that analyzes movies the way I do, it's just something I can't ignore, especially people like me. You just can't ignore it. And it just can't be blind to. It's really my curse, but I digress. So diving into the negatives, there's this thing to where they kind of beat you over the head with it, to where certain characters, and it happens a lot during the film, to where they ask the main character, Robert Pattinson's character, what's it like dying? What's it like dying? What's it like dying? It sucks. Move on. They just constantly do that throughout the whole entire film, and it gets nauseating. And it really gets annoying, especially when you don't get a full answer from Pattinson's character. After a while, it just got a little bit grueling, and it kind of started feeling like nails on a chalkboard. Like Freddy Krueger was on that chalkboard with his nails and just kept on doing like this. Over and over and over again, and I'm like, Robert, man, give him an answer, because you're an expert at this point. Or stop asking. Again, if I was him, I would say, you want to know what it's like dying? It sucks. Move the hell on. The comedic tone, other than Mark Ruffalo, did not work for me whatsoever. I didn't think the humor was all that funny, which nowadays, that's just never surprising. I said this time and time again, good comedy and humor are pretty much a thing of the past. It's pretty much extinct. It's all just awkward moments and pointless anecdotes. And I know this may sound a little bit too harsh, but half the time I just feel like there's no effort and no fun. And unfortunately, that's the norm. That's just the normacy of things right now, of comedy, unfortunately. At least we have Ruffalo's crazy antics and cartoonish, lively, and animated ways to get us through that. I mean, I don't know about you guys, for those of you who have seen it, but I enjoyed Ruffalo's character. He was the only thing that was kind of keeping the comedy alive for me. But the reason why I'm not putting this in a mixed or even a mixed to positive segment of this is because it's just not really worth it. Mark Ruffalo is Mark Ruffalo. The comedic tone is the comedic tone, which was not good. I didn't think the side plot was all that interesting, the reason why Mickey ended up leaving Earth to come to this desolate planet. I never quite cared about that. As much as of an impact and a good reason that he had leaving the planet, I do admit it was a good reason, but given everything else that was going on in this film, I didn't feel like that was even relevant. And they kept on kind of bringing it up. And I'm like, no, get back to the matter at hand. Stop talking about this. Move on. I just felt like it took away from the main point and the main drive that kept this film going. So in the end, guys, this wasn't a terrible, terrible film. It wasn't something that completely turned me away. It just wasn't for me. It didn't quite work 100% for me. I enjoy a science fiction film every now and then. And believe me, I've seen worse. But it just wasn't my cup of tea. And was one of the main reasons why I was kind of hesitant on this. Because I knew the kind of film this was. But it still had its moments. It still had some pretty entertaining, pretty enjoyable moments. There was some decent enough moments in this, but in the end, it really wasn't for me. It's just enough for you to stream it. Mickey 17, what was your thoughts on it? Have you seen it yet? Are you somebody that enjoyed it maybe a little bit more than I did? Are you somebody that appreciated it more than I did? Or was this something that's not to your liking? Was this just another swing and a miss? Leave me your comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, as always, guys, for clicking here and watching this. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Make sure to click that bell icon so you don't miss a thing. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.